안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
우리는 톡태권도입니다. 저는 Jeff입니다.
저는 지은입니다.
I'm Jeff and this is
지은.
and we are Talk Taekwondo. This is a show where we will talk to you about different terminology related to Taekwondo and how to properly pronounce the terminology, what it means, and how to use it properly. And the reason this is necessary is because nowadays a lot of people in different countries practice Taekwondo and they come to Korea to train or to visit or for competitions, and they have difficulty pronouncing the terminology, or they go to international competitions where Korean is the primary language, and it's useful to know, or just to learn a little more about the culture that goes along with the art. So we're gonna talk about some basic vocabulary today, and just help you with pronunciation and understanding. First word, most important word, what we're talking about is
태권도.
Taekwondo.
태권도.
Taekwondo. Now, one thing in the romanization of this is it often is spelled with a K in the middle, but there's no K sound, right?
Yeah.
This is more of a
G sound.
G sound.
태권도.
Taekwondo. What is do?
Do means way.
Way of doing something, or more way of life, lifestyle. And we use this word a lot when we talk about Taekwondo. For example, what do we wear in dojan?
도복.
Dobok.
도복.
What is bok?
복 means uniform.
Or clothing, yeah.
Clothing, yeah.
So dobok literally means the uniform of the way that we're practicing, which is Taekwondo. Same thing for training hall.
도장.
Dojang.
도장.
What is jang?
장 means a place.
So dojang is the way, the place where we practice the way. So when we put Taekwondo and dojang together, we don't have to use the syllable do twice.
Yeah.
It's kind of redundant. So we say Taekwondo-jang.
태권도장.
Literally the place where we practice Taekwondo. Okay. You also see this do a lot in other Japanese-based or Okinawan-based martial arts that have become part of Korean culture, like judo.
유도.
What is judo?
Judo is judo.
Judo. And same do, Hapkido.
Hapkido.
Hapkido comes from a couple different styles of jujutsu, so it incorporates that same concept of do. And also hwarangdo.
화랑도.
Hwarangdo. Traditional Korean martial arts or wrestling arts like shirin or tekken do not use this do suffix because it's not a traditional Korean word. It's more Chinese based and comes via Japan in this case. So we don't use it there. A person who practices Taekwondo, what are they called?
태권도인.
Taekwondo-in. What is in?
In means a person.
This is a suffix we use a lot in Korean to refer to people. Not Taekwondo-ka. That's a Japanese term we use, karate-ka, judo-ka. In Korean, it would be judo,
in.
Taekwondo,
in.
Hapkido,
in.
In meaning a person who does Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So next we're going to talk about instructors. What is instructor in Korean?
사범님.
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 Now, sabom is from the Chinese, and it refers to an instructor. Nim is an honorific suffix that's used in Korean to just show respect to people. We use it a lot. Like a teacher in Korean is
선생님.
선생님. But a martial arts teacher is
사범님.
사범님. Okay? If you're talking about someone who's a little higher, usually high ranking, 7th dan, 8th dan, or someone who is a school owner, what do we call?
관장님.
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 Often this is romanized with a K at the beginning. Is there a K sound here?
No.
No. More of a G. This is just a bad romanization. So 관장님.
관장님.
And an assistant instructor.
부사범님.
So we learned 사범님. We're going to add the prefix 부, which literally just means an assistant. 부,
사범님.
부사범님.
부사범님.
Now the place, the world headquarters for Taekwondo, or at least Kukki Taekwondo, what is it called?
Kukkiwon.
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 This is a tricky one because the romanization is K-U-K-K-I-W-O-N. 3 Ks. There are not 3 K sounds in this word. Instead, the first syllable, we'll break it down, the first letter and the last letter in the first syllable are the same, but the pronunciation's different. How do we pronounce the first syllable?
구.
Ku. So first a G sound ending with a K sound. Ku.
구.
Next syllable is just a G sound. Ki.
기.
And then last syllable,
원.
Kukkiwon.
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 Now, what is Taekwondo? Taekwondo is made up of a lot of different things. So we're going to talk about the different aspects of Taekwondo training. First, poomse.
품새.
Poomse.
품새.
Poomse are the basic forms that are used in Taekwondo, and this makes up a large part of the Taekwondo syllabus. What about sparring?
겨루기.
Gyarugi.
겨루기.
And where does this word come from?
겨루다.
What does gyoruda mean?
겨루다 means fight or spar.
Fighting or sparring. Now there's different kinds when we talk about gyarugi. We have sport gyarugi, freestyle gyarugi, which is just what you do in the dojo when you're training. You're not worried about points or rules. You're just working your techniques freely. And the third one is 1 or 3 step sparring that we do, or what we call promise gyarugi a lot of times. So first, what is sport sparring?
시합 겨루기.
Shihap gyarugi.
시합 겨루기.
Shihap gyarugi. And free sparring.
자유 겨루기.
This first part, jayu. What does jayu mean?
Means free.
Free. So in other words, we use this a lot to refer to any action that's not constrained. And in this case, we're not worried about points or rules or time limits. It's literally freely working all of our techniques. 자유 겨루기.
자유 겨루기.
And the third kind is our step sparring, which is prearranged. One person attacks with a specific attack and you work on your defenses. It's all about working timing and distance, not trying to score points or win a match. This is called 약속 겨루기.
약속 겨루기.
What is 약속?
Means promise.
A promise. So literally it's promise sparring. I promise not to really hurt you when I block your punch and punch you in the face. 약속 겨루기.
약속 겨루기.
There's another word that you might hear that has the same meaning, and it is 맞추어 겨루기.
맞추어 겨루기.
맞추어 겨루기.
맞추어 겨루기.
Okay, and this literally just means to kind of match, not opposing, but kind of matching together, blending with one another. Not opposing. What about breaking techniques?
격파.
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 Now this is referring to brick breaking or board breaking, any kind of breaking techniques we do, whether it be for demonstration or for training purposes or for testing, all. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is self-defense. What is self-defense?
호신술.
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 Now the first 2 syllables come from the Chinese 호신. What is ho?
Protection.
And shin?
Body.
Body. So we literally get body protection. And sul.
Techniques.
Techniques. Body protection techniques. More literally translated in English as self-defense. Defense of oneself. All right, the last part that we're going to talk about is basic movements or basic techniques in Taekwondo. What is basic?
기본.
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 And movement?
동작.
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 So basic movements, 기본 동작.
기본 동작.
Okay, this is all the movements that we use in Taekwondo that are found in the poomse or in kyorugi or and gyokba. First one we're going to talk about is kicking. What is kicking in Korean?
발차기.
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 What is that first sound?
발.
Yeah. Is that a B or a P?
비읍.
B. Yeah, B sound. A lot of times people get confused. If we say P, 팔, that is arm. So we don't want to talk about that. We want to make sure we get that B sound. 발차기. Now this is different from English because literally 발 means
feet.
feet and 차기.
kick.
So literally it means foot kicking. Kind of redundant in English, but in Korean works fine. So people will say 발차기 or sometimes shorter,
차기.
just 차기.
차기.
So you'll hear both in Korea people use. The next two are probably the most difficult, most confusing. When I'm talking about poking or thrusting, whether it be two fingers to the eyes or a spear hand strike to the throat, I'm thrusting. That is.
찌르기.
Now listen very carefully.
찌르기.
You see when she says the first syllable, very tensed. 찌.
찌.
Her mouth very tensed, releasing the air. 찌.
찌.
찌르기.
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 Okay, this is very important. It's like a double J sound, very tense. That means to poke or thrust into something. Punch, however, is a softer sound. Exact same sound to foreigners, to Westerners, but that J is not tensed. For punching, it is
지르기.
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 Thrusting,
찌르기.
punching.
지르기.
So there's a difference. You may not hear it necessarily, but to Koreans it is a very big difference. So the tensed sound, 지르기.
찌르기.
Punch, softer sound,
지르기.
지르기. Okay? Next, for other strikes, if whether I'm talking about elbows or knife hands or hammer fist, we call that
치기.
Jiggy.
치기.
So this is like CH sound. Chi.
치기.
Jiggy.
치기.
And blocking.
막기.
Maki.
막기.
Maki.
막기.
Okay? Now this is a little bit confusing for people because it's often translated as just block. Makes people think it's a defensive tactic or technique, when really it's more of a counter technique. You know, your counter strike is included in the technique. You're stopping what your opponent's doing and capitalizing. So some other ways that this word is used in the Korean language would be closer to the meaning of to obstruct or to interrupt, to hinder, to stop, to block. Many different translations that have some subtle differences and imply a little bit different. You know, if I use the word interrupt rather than block, it kind of implies a little bit different. I'm interrupting your attack. I'm not necessarily meeting it with force, with a block, as much as I am preventing you from continuing the attack. So it's kind of important we understand the Korean usage there. And a lot of times after blocks, we get joint locks. What are joint locks called?
꺾기.
Kukkiwon.
꺾기.
Now this one is also a tensed G sound at the beginning. That double G sound. Kuk.
꺾기.
And the last syllable, or the last letter of the first syllable is a K sound. So kuk. Ki.
꺾기.
Second syllable is a G sound at the beginning. Kukki.
꺾기.
This comes from the verb
꺾다.
꺾다, which means to lock or to inflect. And stances.
서기.
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 This comes from the verb 서다,
서다.
which literally means
stand up.
to stand up. That's it. So when we think of 서기, it doesn't mean a rooted, stationary position as much as it means standing posture. So not quite as rigid a concept in Korean when we say 서기. It's a little more fluid in the way they think of stances. And throwing.
던지기.
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 Now this literally just means to throw. I could throw a rock or a ball or a person. It's going to be the same word. You'll also hear, in addition to 던지기, you will hear 내치기.
매치기,
내치기.
매치기,
내치기.
매치기.
I hear this a lot in dojangs in Korea. 던지기, I think, is used more in Hapkido, but 매치기 is used a lot in Taekwondo dojangs, Taekwondo dojangs, especially older Taekwondo dojangs in Korea. The Kukkiwon uses a slightly different word, which is
넘기기,
넘기기.
넘기기,
넘기기.
넘기기.
All have the same meaning, same way that they're used, just different preference depending on who you're talking to. We're wrapping things up at this point. Only 3 more left. What is this?
잡기,
잡기.
잡기.
Literally comes from the verb 잡다, which just means to grasp or hold or grab something.
Yes.
So 잡기 can be used whether I'm grabbing her wrist or her collar or her hair, any of these. 잡기.
잡기.
What about if I'm being thrown and I need to break fall? What is that called?
낙법,
낙법.
낙법.
법 means
Way, method.
method. So literally, this is just a suffix. It's not a word, but the suffix 법 means method. We put it together. 낙법 means break falling method. So it's not a specific break fall. It's all break falls in general. And the last one, choking.
목 조르기.
Okay, now this is actually 2 words together. First we have the noun 목. What is 목?
neck.
Neck or throat. And the verb
조르다.
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 Now we changed the verb into a noun form of, instead of choking, we get 조르기.
조르기.
Okay, now we put that noun of neck and the action of 조르다 together, we get
목 조르기.
목 조르기.
목 조르기.
목 조르기.
목 조르기.
And this means choking.
Choking.
So that's it for our first video. Future videos will cover more kicks in detail, and then we'll go over the different kinds of stances, blocks, strikes, and more of the vocabulary for the poomsae. We appreciate you watching, and we hope that you learned a little bit of Korean that we use in Taekwondo, and I hope that you watch some of our future videos. So 봐주셔서 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Bye.
Bye.